Welcome here, everybody. We got another great episode and the honor of having an interview with Chris Hunter. He's the founder of Roofing Sites, author, and podcast host. How you doing today, Chris?
Awesome. Thanks, Derek, for having me on here.
Yeah, excited to talk with you. Can you just jump into it with a bit of your background and kind of the idea behind Roofing Sites?
Yeah. So it started out, I don't know, about 23 years, 24 years. I'm really old at this point, right? So I was working on this jet back behind me and figured out that I did not like working on jets for the Air Force, right? It was okay. It was in the desert and it was really, really hot. And I just at one point decided, you know what? I think this is the wrong profession for me. I think I want air conditioning. So I've always been kind of a geeky kind of guy. So I started learning, I was taking classes in the Air Force and one of the classes had us build out a website and do all sorts of things like that. So I was like, you know what, this is kind of cool. So I started really digging into it. And this is like the late 90s at this point. And so I started just kind of figuring that whole thing out. Anyways, long story short is that I started a web design company when I got out of the Air Force in College Station, Texas, and started working with building out websites for people here in the Bryan, College Station, Texas area, right? One of my clients was a roofer, and he talked me into systemizing what I did for myself and doing it for him, right? And let me explain a little bit. So we had built a website for him, and he was like, okay, great, thank you. But how do I get my website ranked on Google like you did for yourself? And at that time, I had taken up all 10 spots on Google for my company. And we did that by simply building out 6 different websites and outranking all of my competition and driving them completely off the front page. So that when this roofer went out, and was shopping around like everybody does, he kept getting me. He's like, didn't I just talk with you? And I'm like, absolutely, man. Let's do a website. Right. So he
proof is in the pudding. Yeah.
Yeah. So he talked me into doing for him what we had done for ourselves, right? And that was kind of the start of working with roofers. We got him ranked and kind of just never looked back. That company that was called Web Unlimited, that was the name of that company. My company now is called roofingsites.com, and we literally only work with roofers, okay?
Yeah,
and so I've been doing it for a really, really, really long time. I wrote a book on it. The book is called The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers. If your contractors don't have this in hand, by the way, this isn't just for roofers. If you're a contractor, this is great information. I think it's basically the past 20 years of my knowledge that I can pass down to everybody. And it's a framework, right? It's a framework, and it's not just tactics on how to do this or that. There's some of those types of things in there, but it's more along the lines of this is our Evergreen framework of what we use and what works for marketing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely. That's massive. I'm a big proponent and believer in evergreen marketing. I've done the social media hamster wheel and, don't enjoy trying to pump out new stuff all the time, even though, we're obviously creating a lot of content, but with the understanding that it's evergreen and you're going to put time and energy into it and it's going to last you over the long haul. So really important concept to marketing and social media marketing. Like it's just massive now, like digital marketing. There's so much to it. Obviously you're an expert on SEO and, a bunch of other stuff as well, but it seems like I'm adding a new social platform every day and finding new ways to do this and that. So how do you kind of like think about digital marketing? Like how should contractors be thinking about their digital marketing strategy kind of from a higher level point and not get kind of stuck in the nitty gritty or the next new flash bang thing?
Yeah, and I would stick to the basics, the top 5, honestly. Picking up a roofing company or had a roofing company or a contracting company out there, I would concentrate on Facebook because they're the biggest, right? I would concentrate on Twitter, now X, whatever that wants to be called, right? Or Elon wants to call it, but it's been around a long time and it's widely used. So I would definitely concentrate on that. Instagram is very mature at this point, and I see a lot more engagement on Instagram with contractors and roofers in general. LinkedIn is, if you have any kind of B2B aspect or you're trying to attract employees, right? LinkedIn is another one. And I would highly recommend Google Business Profile, right? Google Business Profile used to be Google My Business, used to be Google Plus, right? It's built into Google. So you don't want to ignore it, right? Because that's where, by the way, all the leads are coming from these days is Google. So
you want to keep Google happy.
I would keep Google as happy as I possibly could. Yeah.
Awesome. Good stuff. And the Google, I like the Google like ecosystem, if you will, like YouTube, Google search, business profile. I mean, they've got all the Google Docs and Drive and everything, but everything kind of, it works well together because all from the same company incorporated or whatever. So very good. And just, I know you're like huge on systems and frameworks and processes and all that stuff. Is there anything that you would suggest for contractors to use as far as like to be able to post on all these different social media platforms or get a presence in all these different places?
So there are tons and tons of tools that are out there, right? And there are more and more tools that are coming out. I really would concentrate on a tool to help you post in one place that disseminates it to all of those places, right? And the tool that I would recommend is really, it's instead of paying a monthly subscription like for Hootsuite or Buffer or, like there are literally thousands of those out there. There are plenty of tools that are lifetime deals, right? To where you can pay once, $100, $200 maybe once, and you get a lifetime deal on that. Hero Post is one of those that I usually recommend.
Heard about that recently.
It's a lifetime deal. You sign up for it, you get it, and you don't have to pay a monthly subscription for that.
Yeah, definitely. Always want to keep that overhead low, keep the company strong and fiscally responsible. So great advice there. So 20 years of experience, I'm sure you made a few mistakes over the, at least one or two over the years. What's a big mistake that you've made and how did you kind of learn from it, and what's kind of the action or what do you do differently now?
We make mistakes all the time, right? I mean, we're humans. Here's the one that I see over and over and over again that a lot of people make, right? You start out your business and you started out relying on referrals, okay? And that's great, except to a certain extent. And I did the same thing. When I first started my business, I told all of my friends and family, hey, I'm starting my web design company, anyone who needs a website, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, right? Well, the problem with that is that it's passive, okay? And you're waiting for stuff to happen. And it's not reliable. Okay. So I would say the biggest mistake was not marketing my own company. And yes, that's weird coming from a marketing company, right? Is not marketing ourselves. But it wasn't until we really truly started marketing for ourselves and really figured out our own marketing on how to get in front of people and how to get them to know, like, and trust us. It wasn't until that happened to when things started getting predictable, right? Prior to that, work would come in, we would do the work, then we have to go hunt and go find someone. And I see a lot of contractors in this same boat. They've never done any kind of marketing ever other than door hangers for roofers, right? And possibly a Yellow Pages ad, which, by the way, if you're still, advertising in the Yellow Pages, good for you. But this $1,000 machine sitting in everybody's pocket, along with Google, has replaced that completely, So I would highly recommend that you move over to Google. Yeah, but just not marketing yourself. That's the biggest mistake that I see over and over and over and over again. Because referrals are great, but you can't predict income based off of referrals.
Yeah, you definitely want to have like a systematized approach to marketing so that even if you get super busy with clients, you got a whole bunch of, spring season comes in or, you get slammed with a whole bunch of work and stuff coming on, that you still got systems or people or something in the background, like marketing and still bringing in leads. I call it the Contractor 22. It happens with any business, myself included, where, you get busy with client work and then you kind of neglect sales and marketing, and then all of a sudden those projects start wrapping up or what have you, and then it's like, oh shoot, I need to go and find more leads and all that kind of stuff. So really important to have that system in place. So I mean, SEO is great for that, right? Because it's you're always ranking. I mean, there's obviously work to keep you at the top level there, but what are some like systems, processes, or like SEO tips that could kind of keep that marketing machine running for contractors without them constantly having to watch it, I guess?
Yeah. So that's a great question. I think that in this day and age, creating content, right? Just literally having the owner create content on a regular basis, just like what we are doing right now. Right. Yeah. We're creating content. We're here, this is going on YouTube, this is going probably to different social channels and all that kind of stuff. And this whole purpose is to get people's attention, right? And to attract their interest. And And hopefully they will have a desire and then to work with us, and then they will take action on that desire, right? So the AIDA model that's been around for hundreds of years, right? It works. It just plain works. So, I think that's the key, is just making it consistent and making it a consistent effort to create that content and stay in front of people at all times.
Yeah. And if you're like a contractor and I find you're struggling, like everyone started from like, going outside their comfort zone. Like I know a lot of guys, they don't want to get on camera, and you don't have to be the YouTube guy or the camera guy, but, push your comfort zones a little bit and get out there a little bit, share some stuff. And it's really considered, practice, and you get better as you go along. But yeah, once you kind of figure things out, it's really not too difficult to provide content because you're already an expert in what you do. And there are people that are interested and will get value out of you sharing your insights, your expertise, your personality, whatever it is that draws people into, the different content that's out there. So yeah, great point there is consistent content for sure. So tell me about like a success story of a client of yours. One comes to mind of kind of, where they were at and what you guys worked on together, how you kind of were able to produce some good results for them.
Yeah. I mean, so we have countless, case studies and stuff like that. I mean, our goal, at roofingsites.com is literally to double the size of 100 roofing companies, right, before 2028. So I think that we're well on our way towards that. So this story, and I was thinking about this before we got on here, this story is actually, it's not a client of mine, right? It's actually a buddy of mine that, and I tell this at almost every strategy session that I get on with, a potential client and or even my own clients. I tell the same exact story. So basically, this friend of mine decided he's a marketer, okay? He bought into a roofing company up in the Chicago area. And, he was going to do the marketing side of things. And, the other guy was going to do the sales and operations and all that kind of stuff, right? So he was having a hard time ranking his website. And so I kind of dug into it. And specifically, he was having a hard time ranking inside of the Maps 3-pack, right? So which is, 3 listings that show up when you do a search for a roofing contractor near me or whatever, right? And it's the 3 listings inside of Google Maps. Well, he was having a hard time getting ranked there, right? And he wasn't getting very many leads coming from that. And at that time, they were about a $350,000 to $500,000 company, right? Not nearly as big as what he wanted it to get to. So I started digging into it, and then I asked him, I said, well, where's the best neighborhood that where the $3 to $5 million to $10 million home, right? Where's that neighborhood? He's like, oh yeah, that's right over here. So I was like, great, go look for an office that's right outside of that neighborhood. Something that you can lease out for, I don't know, $1,000 a month, whatever, right? Yep. So he did that. He found that office right outside of that neighborhood. And within about 6 months, he went from $15,000 jobs, which is typical in the roofing industry, to $100,000 jobs. They blew that company up there. Now, this is about 3 or 4 years ago at this point. They're now a $12 million company.
Wonderful.
And so do that. Find the best neighborhood. Put your office right outside of it, because Google places a very high importance on proximity to the searcher. The person sitting there with that $1,000 machine that's searching for you on Google. Google places importance on where they are, on how close they are to your office. Okay. For those of y'all that don't have an office, get an office, do exactly what I said, and place it outside of the best neighborhood in your service area. Yeah. It's that easy.
Great advice. Very out of the box thinking as far as, tying the physical with the digital, but effective. So, wow, great tip there. Thanks for sharing that. As far as like SEO ranking, is there anything like any kind of quick sort of just hit the bar? I know there's a lot that you need to do in order to get to the top, obviously, but what are like maybe a few things that contractors, roofers could do to just kind of give themselves at least a leg up in the SEO rankings?
Yeah. So I'm a keep it simple kind of guy, right? There's a lot that goes into SEO. There's so many moving pieces. And Google changes 650 to 700 times a year. I mean, think about that. Roofing industry doesn't change that much, right? I mean, you might get new type of shingles out. You might get new, underlayment. You might get a new, tool or something like that comes out. But nothing that is so dramatically different from not only day to day, but hour to hour, right? So with all that being said, we're going to keep it simple, all right? So number 1, make sure that your keywords that you want to rank for, whether that's roofing contractor I'm going to use College Station, Texas, because that's where I'm at, right? Roofing contractor in College Station, Texas, or roofing company in College Station, Texas. Make sure that says that on your front page somewhere, okay? You can't imagine how many people that I talk with. Oh, I want to get ranked for this keyword. I look at their site and I'm like, well, you don't say that anywhere on your website, anywhere. right? So, I mean, that's kind of the basics is make sure that you give Google what it wants, which is the text. Okay. Optimize that one page for that given search key term. Okay. If you want to rank for 1,000 different keywords, you're going to have 1,000 different pages. Okay. That match up with that key search. Okay. Number 2, feed Google. Okay. Google likes to be fed just like anyone else. Okay. And what do you think it consumes? Text. Okay. Specifically text. Google's algorithm, their spiders are literally just software programs that go from one hyperlink to another hyperlink. Right. And they go and digest that page, figure out what it's about, and take that back to its layer, just like a spider would. Okay. Which is why they call them spiders. Okay. So when it goes from one web page to another web page, right, it's constantly looking for new content. Feed it. Feed it content on a regular basis. I do this with blogs, okay, because blogs are educational in nature. They typically talk about the keyword that you want to get ranked for. So I do that. And then I like to immediately share those out to social media channels because that helps to get the spiders to the website. So I call that process spider food, okay? Because it's attracting the search engine spiders. And I guess number 3 is make sure that you have backlinks coming to your website, okay? So what is backlink? A backlink is literally a link from one website to another website. Okay. And some websites are more important in everybody's eyes, not just Google, but everybody's eyes than others. Okay. Great example is if you got a link from the NRCA's website, okay, National Roofing Contractors Association's website to your website, that would be a pretty good link. And it should be. You should be part of that association anyways, right? As a roofing contractor. If you have a Better Business Bureau listing, make sure that that link points back to your website. Make sure that your Chamber of Commerce listing has a link back to your website. These are all important, trustworthy type links. Okay. These are things that you should have as a basic, if in Google's eyes, if you want to rank. Okay. So find those links. Now I'm going to give you another tip, a bonus tip here. Okay. And this is another buddy of mine. Okay. So a buddy of mine here in College Station owns he's a criminal defense lawyer. Okay. And we did his website a long time ago. Didn't do any SEO for him. He likes doing it himself. Okay. But he outranks absolutely everybody with one single link. Okay. So Texas A&M is real close to us, right? That's where College Station has Texas A&M University. Well, he sponsors the A&M Cycling Club every year. He pays $500 and he gets a little banner with his logo that, guess what, links back to his website. And that one singular link, because it's a .edu link, right? It's tamu.edu, tamu.edu, right? / Aggie Cycling Club, whatever it is. I don't know off the top of my head, but that one link helps him outrank all of his competitors. And guess what? Defense lawyers in College Station is pretty competitive, right? Yeah. So go find Little League links, go find Little Leagues to sponsor, go find softball associations to sponsor, go find a cycling club at the local university to sponsor. Get a link from their website to your website. It's that simple.
Yeah, great advice. Thanks so much for sharing that. I'm sure it's like just those alone are a big step forward for guys out there. And I know it can get, like you said, it's changing all the time. There's a lot that goes into it. It can get really confusing, especially if you're not a computer guy or tech guy and prefer to be out there shaking hands and kissing babies or whatever. But those are pretty easy, and something probably like a web developer or whoever handles your tech can handle. But by all means, definitely reach out to Chris here. Chris, what's the best way to connect with you if people have more questions or want to learn more about your services?
Yeah, sure. So the easiest way is go to our website at roofingsites.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see it right here on my t-shirt, roofingsites.com.
Put links in the description as well.
Yeah. If you want to reach out to me via email, it's chris.hunter@roofingsites.com. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube. We have our own YouTube channel. We have a podcast. There's tons of places to go and find us.
Wonderful.
And if you want to, if you want this book, my book, The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers, just go to go.roofingsites.com and I'll send it to you for free. If you're any kind of contractor, you should have it in your hands.
Yeah. Definitely very valuable information, worth, depending on your company, who knows, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of information there. So go pick up a copy. Thanks so much for being here, Chris. I really appreciate you helping us out and sharing your expertise.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Derek.